I can see it.
Perfect. Can you also see like you guys on the thumbnail?
Yeah, I can see Mohammed picture, and I can see your name and Cccu IBD.
Okay, that's all right then.
Nothing else.
You'll have to live with seeing yourselves, guys, because it feels weird not seeing anything or anyone.
Good. So I'll start now. So good afternoon. Good morning to everyone in South America as well. So welcome to our session today by Canterbury Christ Church University on the School of Creative Arts and Industries. I'm Mohammed Ali, who's Associate Director of Recruitment for Global University System in Canterbury Christ Church University. And today we will have, we do have with us Sarah O'Hara, one of the directors from the School of Creative Arts and Industries.
Hello, good afternoon. My name's Sarah O'Hara. I'm the Senior Academic Link Tutor for International at Canterbury Christ Church. And I'm also Programme Director for Media and Communications and Public Relations and Media. And later on in the presentation, you'll be joined via video with my colleague, Dr. Sam Vale, who's actually the school lead for International and the Programme Director for Photography. So welcome to Canterbury Christ Church. We're going to start our presentation off today. We've got quite a lot of video to really bring the campus alive. So we're going to start the presentation off today by showing you a video of our great facilities that we've got for the School of Creative Arts and Industries. So the video shows our brand new Daphne Oram building that actually only opened last year. No, year before COVID hit. And the video that you can see are the facilities that the students are using there, the music production facilities. So the next slide that we're going to look at, the next video we're going to look at is actually, we thought it would be really useful for you guys to hear the experience of international students that are currently studying on the programs within our school. So we've got a video here talking to two of our students.
Sawadika.
Sawadika.
Hi, my name is Panpapa Theowut and my nickname is Mint. I'm doing commercial music year 2. So the reason that I choose to study at Christchurch is because I really like the city and I think the course really suited me. So I thought this course would be a great opportunity for me to, follow my dream.
My name is Derek and I'm studying International Foundation year. The reason I choose to study in Canterbury Christ Church University is because I want to try to know what university life actually looks like. And the university got a lot of course, especially film is what I'm really interested. I really enjoy studying in Canterbury Christ Church because Augustine House, there's a lot of book to borrow, a lot of book to read, and the accommodation is really close to the university. It's only like 10 minutes walking only. Furthermore, the support that I'm getting in the course is really helpful.
As the international students, I found the resources, teachers, and staff in Christchurch University is really helpful. And because my English is not my first language, so they can understand that and they supported me.
There will be intensive English tutorial with your tutors. The best thing living in Canterbury is definitely the city center because a lot of store that you can visit. I've been exploring a lot in Canterbury and I really love it, especially the history behind Canterbury. I've been visiting London a lot with the buses because it's really cheap and convenient.
There is a lot of clubs and society in our universities, and I joined the badminton as well as music, and that's allowed me to meet new people. And I think this university's got the best friendly environment.
See you.
สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดี
So as the student talked about on the video, for those of you that aren't familiar, Canterbury Christ Church, as you can see on the map, is in the southeast of the UK. So we're very close to London. It's about 48 minutes on the high-speed train to London. Though, as the student mentioned, you can actually get a bus up to London, which is a bit cheaper. We're in a very old city, a small city, a safe city, but equally so we're surrounded by coastline, and we're very close to Europe as well. So if students want to travel over to Europe, they can literally cross the channel. We're half an hour from Dover, and then they can get on a ferry or they can go on Eurotunnel. So we're a really good location to be able to travel over to Europe. We've got some really inspiring spaces. So the space that I took you through, the video, is the space on the right-hand side, which is the Daphne Oram. The space which is a brand new building. The space in the middle that you can see, actually the picture we've got there is, we should update it, that's an artist representation. That is our new engineering and medicine centre that only opened up last month. But actually our students will have access to that space as well. But then equally so on the left-hand side, we've got the recording space for the music students in the Gregory Centre, which is actually an old church. So whilst we've got brand new modern buildings, we're actually on a site of a UNESCO heritage site. So we've got a lot of history around us. We're surrounded by the original walls of Canterbury. So we've got old history with really inspiring spaces around us. And for students that are doing subjects such as film production or journalism, there's really inspirational space that they can use to make their films or their documentaries and other areas like that. So the next slide gives you an overview really of Canterbury Christ Church. So we actually have 3 faculties: medicine, health and social care, arts, humanities and education, science, engineering and social science. So our school with the programmes I'm discussing today sit in arts and humanities. We have 15,300 students, 75% of which are full-time and 25% are part-time. A lot of the part-time students are our master's students and students that are already working that are coming back to study. And we have 1,800 staff working across the university. We have a £134 million turnover, and we have a very big impact on the southeast economy. I've talked about the Canterbury campus because that's where the students on this programme would be based, but we also have a campus up in Medway in north of Kent as well, where our healthcare students study, and so that has a bigger impact upon the economy across the area. So the university has a Silver TEF certificate, which is the Teaching Excellence Framework, and we've got great regional and global impact. We have world-leading research across the university and within the school. And our graduate employment is very high. We're in the top 10 for graduates in work amongst large UK universities. Each of our programmes has a employability standard and a graduate basis, and many of our programmes with their professional and practical elements, including things like journalism, have a really, really high percentage of graduate employment and employability levels at the end of the course. So the subjects that we cover in the university range from commercial music that you saw in the video. I'm not going to go through all the subjects, but we have dance, we have drama, we have film production, we have graphic design, we have games design, we have media and communications, right the way through to photography, public relations and media. Some of the degrees can be offered as a combination. As you can see, dance is actually only offered as a combination. Some degrees are only offered as single honours. So journalism, for example, due to its accreditation, is only offered as a single honours. On many of the degrees, there's shared modules. So even if a student comes in to study say media and communications on my programme, they would be studying on modules alongside journalism students, alongside public relations students. So they get a feel for working with different students from different discipline sets. And we do have a module in the second year which students across the whole school can take. And so that really gets the students working with different skill sets and different sort of cultural understanding, and that's a module that's very popular actually with our international students. So I've got another video to show you now. This is the video about film production, and it's actually from a programme director's perspective. So this is from a staff's perspective to give you a feel of film production.
Hello, my name is Jane Milton and I'm Programme Director for Film Production. So why study film here? It's a highly practical degree with 2/3 in practice and 1/3 with studying theory. You will use industry standard equipment and work with tutors who are a mix of practitioners, theoreticians and a technical team. You get to use the equipment straight away and turn your ideas on paper to visions on screen.
Try not to blame yourself too much. That's what I'm here for.
You'll have a chance to further specialise in areas like editing, cinematography, directing, sound and script writing, and turn your hand to documentary.
A lot of the locals are on there, you know, and there's people on there that are no longer with us, sadly. So it means a lot to people drinking it. People come in, take photos, pop into the pub.
When students graduate, they can either specialise in film or use their highly transferable media skills in other sectors of the creative industries. So do come and join us and find out more about film production at Canterbury Christ Church University.
So that's from a lecturer's perspective. Now, what Jane didn't actually say, but leads very nicely onto this slide, is that Jane's background is in documentary making, and she's actually an award-winning documentary producer. I've got 20 years experience in advertising and PR. So a lot of the academics teaching in the school actually have industry experience before they've moved into a university. So in addition to us academics that have had a life in industry beforehand, we have a number of visiting speakers and sessional lecturers that come in and teach from an industry perspective. So it's a very practice-based school. We are very innovative in our teaching. Most of our programs don't have any exams. Most of our assessment is via a lot of practice-based work, working in groups, interacting with live clients. All of our programs embed internships and work experience. So students are encouraged from a second year onwards to gain real life experience. We have, as I said, guest lecturers and workshops. We work on live briefs and case studies. We offer mentoring throughout the programme with student mentors. And actually, we do write and publish with our students. So our research active academics actually work with students to publish work. And we are also able to offer the Turing Project, which is, as I'm sure many of you know, is the replacement for Erasmus. So students do have a chance, if they want to study for a semester or a year in their second year. Across nearly all the programmes, we also run live events. So for the journalism students, for example, they do news days and TV broadcasts. The commercial music production students put on music events. We have performances, we have exhibitions, and we have publications. So we have an end of year show where all the photography students will exhibit their work alongside the film students. We introduce and bring in local industry, local schools, local students, and local employers to really showcase the work that our students have done throughout their studies. So the next video we're going to show you is actually a talking head. It's a piece from the games design students, and it's taking you through a trip that they took to Berlin, where they actually pitched their games at a live games design expo.
This is the last week before Berlin. We're off on Thursday. So it's been quite hectic, I think, this week.
Here we are, off to amazing Berlin.
So we decided what needs to be done as soon as possible and ready for the demo in Berlin.
What the students are going to do, and yes, it's scary, is they're going to be showing their games to members of the random German public. And I'm sure that what they're going to do, they're going to point out the problems, but they're also going to point out the things that our students have done really well. So yeah, if I'm being completely honest, we're a little bit scared about this. It could go a little bit wrong, but we're there to support our students.
What are you looking forward to at Amaze?
Students sitting other people's ideas.
It's a city that's historically really, really important. Exactly the kind of place that students should go to. It's kind of countercultural, and at the moment it's kind of the hotbed for digital startups and game development.
And it's amazing. So yeah, we're just going to head down there, play some games, meet some nice people, and listen to some stuff.
It's good to be surrounded by people that have the same concept of the reach of video games.
Yeah, there's a Devolution Exhibition, which is 3 games that have their timeline of the development process. So we're really interested to see how all these games have been made.
Joe Baxter Webb has been in contact with some of the devs from Samphire, and we're going to be taking some of our students to this indie studio, this collective, to see the kind of work that they're up to, where you've got lots of different devs creating games together.
I want to go to Amaze because I really want to see what people think of the game we've made and just to have a good time.
Storm, people have just played your game at a gaming convention in Amaze. How does that make you feel?
I'm stoked, honestly. I was really nervous at first. Me and Ethan were booting up the game. It wasn't working at first, it crashed. It wasn't 100%, but no, it's working, it feels amazing.
It's nerve-wracking, but it's really satisfying to see people like working on something they worked on. Like, it's cool to see players. It's cool to see people enjoying something.
By showing people their games, by taking feedback, good and bad, they'll become better designers and better equipped to enter the games industry.
They want us to continue it, yeah.
And make it better. So find it so they can play it again.
was worth it?
Absolutely.
Yes.
It's very nerve-wracking.
Love that. Toby, did you enjoy yourself at Berlin?
I did enjoy myself in Berlin.
Excellent. You doing it again?
Yeah.
Doing it again next year?
Doing it again next year. We've had an invitation back, so that's why we need to fund it going.
That actually makes me feel quite sad, because obviously the students weren't able to go back the following year because unfortunately COVID hit. So yeah, that's made me feel, makes you realise what's happened looking at those footage of everybody together has quite changed. So the last video that we want to show you, I want to show you, is students actually from my programme, which is Media and Communications. But before I show you the video, what I also want to say about this video is this is my students talking about the programme, but actually the video is being produced by some of my alumni who graduated a couple of years ago and are now running a very successful videography company that shoot actually all over the world. So they've came back and actually did a video of their sort of the guys that were in the first year and then in the third year and produced it for us. So it's really nice to be able to show a piece of work that doesn't just feature my students, but is produced by my students as well.
I've definitely enjoyed the creative and practical side of the degree, so creating content and editing it for social media pages and a website as well.
What I've enjoyed most is media, so like producing stuff in the course, like Adobe Illustrator, Photoshop, learning those kind of things has been really useful.
My favourite module was design practice, where we created our own brand, had to brand it all, create a website, the social media for it.
When I left sixth form, I hardly knew anything about video editing. Now I understand why every shot is chosen, why composition is so important, and the overall look and feel and everything that goes into an entire campaign. During my degree, I've learned a lot more about group work, which is something that I didn't have a lot of experience with. The end product's nice because everyone's done their bit and something we can all be proud of.
So we're working with the Samphire Project, which is a migrant charity down in Dover. And for them, we're trying to help promote their multicultural festival. So we're creating all the promotional materials for it, both online and in print.
Working with the students at Christ Church is really good. They not only are full of enthusiasm and creative ideas, but they also work quite independently.
So we first met our client Richard when he came and visited us at the uni. We had an initial meeting with him. He communicated with us about what he wanted from us.
So our clients, like Richard, he's in charge of a charity, like the charity social media and stuff. And what we've done for him is a brand sheet, so he can use it on his website, so it all sticks to one colour, so it looks really professional.
The relationships with the students and Christ Church is really key to us. Part of our remit as a charity is to bring people together. So having involvement with students as well as local people is really key.
I have gained insight into the industry and how professionals actually work. So we've got deadlines, and obviously that is a key thing when you go out to the real world of work.
We've been working with Lee Suter, who is the development manager for Faversham Strikeforce. So he commissioned us to attract more team sponsors. So we're looking at how to attract businesses on a business-to-business level.
Working with the students has been brilliant for the club. The students have shown passion and empathy towards the volunteer sector.
We're creating a sponsorship campaign for him, and a lot of that is editing videos and creating sort of one brand voice throughout the whole campaign.
So the students have produced a number of introductory videos for us, which has allowed us to raise our brand awareness and social media traffic.
It sort of prepares you for the pressures of finishing your degree and real world experience.
After I graduate, I'll look for jobs within the digital marketing sector or social media marketing.
After I graduate, I plan on going into work in London and hopefully working for a media company there.
I'd like to go straight on and do a master's degree.
The media and communications course really helped me, made me stand out from other applicants for the job. Certain modules such as advertising have given me the confidence to know that I can go into branding when I finish my degree.
Again, that's really nice to revisit that video, because again, that was shot pre-COVID, but actually the students, where they were talking about what they wanted to go on and do, it was actually this time of year. And I'm delighted to think that all of them have ended up doing, even with COVID, what they planned to do. So James has gone on to do a master's, and I've just done a reference actually for one of the girls. So she's already done 2 years as a graduate, or a year as a graduate, and now she's moving on to her second role. So I think part of what that video shows you is not just what the students have learned, but it's showing how in the third year, working with live briefs and working with local clients, they're really learning to, as I said in the video, to develop their employability skills and develop their relationships in the workforce. So this links really well that the programs are designed to offer diverse careers. So you heard the students themselves talk about the types of roles that they want to go into, so they can go into a different type of role. Some stay in creative industries, making film, as I said earlier, and others go down different pathways. So we are in the top 10 universities for graduates in work after they complete their degree. And the next slide talks about one of our alumni, Naomi, who's gone on from photography to go into, she's actually a sort of international sports photographer now. So that's kind of the area that she's working into. And then I think the next slide talks about, creative careers. So we do embed work for creative visual industries. There's future career study. Some of our students go on to teaching. They stay within Christchurch and do their PGCE. We provide valuable graduate and transferable skills. We also, particularly in some of the programs, do equip them to go out and start up being self-employed and freelancers. So for the photography degree, for example, they're given modules on how to set up a business, how to run a business, how to promote themselves, how to set up a portfolio, how to set up a website, how to pitch ideas. So we very much, and the university has some current support funding to help students set up as new businesses and set up as entrepreneurs. And we bring opportunities for them to work at all times on external projects to build up the confidence to be able to do that. So this slide, I'm going to introduce you to Sam, who would be here today, but unfortunately he's teaching. So Sam is our School Director of International, and he's actually going to take you through our Masters suite, which actually is just going live this year. So he can take you through what the Masters opportunities we've got as well.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Sam Vale, and I am the Creative Arts and Industries lead for International. But I'm also the Programme Director of Photography. And so I'm here today to talk to you very briefly about the new suite of masters that we've been working on at Christchurch. But also to give you an opportunity to have a face to fit the name that you might email. Please do get in touch if you've got any questions about any of the undergraduate programs or the master's programs. I am more than happy to respond and talk about and give you more detail about any of the things that you've seen or heard today. So this wonderful new set of masters that we've been working on are really exciting. What we are doing as a creative school is bringing together lots of ideas about collaborative practice and working in community. And we've set a series of core modules that all of the masters will share. And then they have subject-specific ones, depending on the subject that you might be studying. So, for example, if you were coming on to do the programme, you would all do a collaborative practice module. And on that module, you'll be working with local industries, local charities, in order to think of creative solutions to issues and problems that they have. Also within that module, you'll be working with your fellow colleagues across all of the MAs. So it brings different people from different skill sets and industries together in order to make creative solutions to problems. And that's what we're really excited about. So they share these core modules that are the same, which are creative, culture and community, collaborative practice, professional development, and then all of them have a big final project, which is a self-initiated project in an area that connects to your part of your study. And then they have two very specific specialist modules that have been developed by experts in the different areas in order to make you have the best start in the creative career that you have chosen. So without further ado, I'll go through the list of MAs that are within this suite. So there's an MA in Games Design, an MA in Media Communication and PR, an MA in Arts, Health and Performance, not Hearts Health, an MA in Film, Media and Production, a really great new MA in Sound Design for Film, TV and Interactive Media. There is a more general one, which is the Creative and Cultural Industries Masters. And finally, there is the Masters of Visual Communication, which I will be leading with my colleague Kate McLean from Graphic Design. So we're really looking forward to welcoming lots of new students onto this great master's program. And we're really excited about this collaborative way of working, because we see coming together as a community of creative thinkers will enable us to come up with new innovative ideas.
There you go. So there's the list that Sam's just gone through. I'm not quite sure how to follow on from Sam. So the last slide really is to see if you have any questions.
We can't hear you, Mohammed.
Yeah, so does anybody on this session have any questions for Sarah that we can go through, please?
I think we've got one, have we, at the bottom? Two?
Yeah, please, is there any course in broadcast media?
So by broadcast media, we've got multimedia journalism, which includes television journalism and includes radio journalism. And then we've got the film production degree, and then the film, radio and television degree also includes element of broadcast media as well.
Thank you.
So it depends on whether you're kind of looking at it from a journalist side or a documentary maker side, really.
Brilliant, thank you. Any entry requirements for masters? So entry requirements for masters will vary from country to country because of different academic qualifications, but normally you need a master's degree to go on to the a bachelor's degree to go on to the master's degree. Ideally, it needs to be sort of related. Sarah, if you can sort of let us know, do they need to have portfolios?
Yeah, so some of the pathways you would need, the students would need to submit a portfolio and be they'd all be interviewed, but to submit a portfolio. So the masters that Sam was talking about at the end, if you were coming in as with an interest in photography, you'd be expected to submit a portfolio, and you would be expected to have, if you were coming from a UK-based university, you'd be expected to be a 2-1 and above generally. For some of the masters, for example, the Media and Communications and Public Relations masters, we're expecting that actually we may have people coming from industry who may have been out of employment been out of education for a while, and as such we would interview them. So it may be that they might not even need a degree if they've got a diploma and say 20 years of experience. So it does vary by which program you're interested in, really.
Brilliant, thank you. Another question: does the student have to have a background in creative arts to join a master's degree? Can she join from a commerce background but has an interest in the field?
Oh, absolutely. The masters are being scoped actually, so that there will be some that are coming in because it's a career aspiration. They want a master's to get on in industry. Others of the degree are being scoped because we know that people, particularly with where we're going through at the moment during lockdown, have seen creativity and visual arts as a really fulfilling hobby or interest, and people have actually almost changing careers because they're interested in this area. So it's totally possible to come on to this master's programme from a commercial background or with a commercial degree, a business studies degree, or a degree that's from that side.
Brilliant, thank you. So if I do my course at Canterbury Christ Church University, is there a chance to travel as well during the courses, like a year out? So if we study at undergraduate level, the placement year, etc.
Yeah, so it isn't really a placement year, but we are taking part in the Turing project, which again is because it's new to us. So it's supposed to be the same as Erasmus, which means that students would apply for a chance to study in their second year, either one semester or the whole year overseas. We do have a partnership in North America, and we have partners across Europe, so that we have students go out to Spain, Finland, France, all over the place. And as I alluded to, we do actually just for a week go away for a field trip to Europe and take a whole module across to Europe. So yes, students would have an opportunity to do additional study in another country if they came to do a programme with us.
Fantastic. Is Gaap accepted in CCCU? So I believe this is a entry criteria question. So in terms of academic or work gaps, yes, we're happy to look at the applications, but we would need a full explanation, and the student will clearly need to explain why and what they have been doing in the gap years, and the students' aspirations as well. So if there's a gap year and they've done nothing for 2 or 3 years and they have no explanation for it, it's probably a no. If they do have a reason for the gap year and it's acceptable, then we're more than happy to have a look at it. Is there any internship for journalism courses?
Internship, yeah. All students on the journalism degree would be expected to either gain an internship or professional work-based learning. Many go in and do a traditional internship on a national newspaper, local newspaper or magazine. Others decide maybe at that stage, at the end of their second year, they're going to set up as freelancers. Some decide that they're going to do other areas, say content curation, and they might be working for agencies doing content. So yes, the journalism degree has internship embedded in it.
Thank you. Question from Simple Sharma. If a student have 50% marks in standard 12 and having 2 years of diploma in music course, can a student apply for BA music course at Canterbury Christ Church University? So the question is, the normal entry requirement is 60% at Canterbury Christ Church University. So this student would have 10% less, but after doing standard 12, which is equivalent to A levels, they've done a 2-year diploma in music course. So would we consider those type of applicants?
Yes, we would. And in fact, we've got a foundation year across the whole school anyway. So even if a student, and the international student mentioned that, didn't they, on the video? So even if a student doesn't have the entry requirements to come straight onto a degree programme, they can do a foundation year with us. But generally we look student by student basis, and if they've got additional qualifications post school, then we're happy to take them.
Brilliant. Could you please confirm if the session starting in September 21 will be in class based, or would it be online?
Oh, well, currently I'm sitting here with a pile of timetabling requests to go in. Currently, we are planning to be face-to-face. Our full intention is to be face-to-face. We're working with government regulations. We've been face-to-face as long as we've been allowed to be face-to-face. So in semester 1, we were teaching face-to-face when a lot of other UK universities weren't teaching. And so our plan from September is to do face-to-face teaching. However, to be brutally honest, because we are having to schedule teaching still on a social distance basis, we don't have capacity to do all the teaching face-to-face. So on my own programme, I'm having to break students into smaller groups rather than having them all in a big group. And then one group will be taught, and then the other group will be taught, and then they'll have some additional online activities as well. But every student in the school will have some weekly face-to-face teaching on every module, and the priority has been for first years to get face-to-face teaching. I say that with the caveat that obviously we're working within the restrictions that the government might impose upon us, and if we were to go into another national lockdown, then we wouldn't be allowed to teach face-to-face. But certainly our practice-based students were allowed back on campus as quickly as the government allowed us to do so. So the film production students, for example, have been back on campus in studios since the 8th of March.
Brilliant, thank you. Hi there, do we have campus accommodation for September 2021 intake? Yes, we do. For undergraduates and foundation students, accommodation is guaranteed, but there's plenty of accommodation, student accommodation. We have private accommodation that are vetted by the university as well. So if master level students want to stay in private accommodation, that's possible as well. And we have homestay as well. So if you have younger students or students who want meals cooked or want a truly British experience, then we have host families available for homestay. Again, that's been vetted by the university. Nicole, question from Nicole. What about the students who are from countries whose embassy is closed for international traveling? I mean, in terms of the UK border, we're not really closed to anyone. So if you are a British citizen or you hold a British residency, which applies to international students. So international students do hold a British residency once they get their visas, and they will be allowed to travel into the UK. If they are on a red list country, you will need to follow the guidelines and quarantine in a government hotel booked through the government site for 10 days. So
yeah, so Christchurch actually has been very flexible with our international students. So we've given them access to, before we had the government hotels, we gave our students access to accommodation actually earlier, free of charge, so that they could quarantine in Canterbury before students started. For some international students, they chose to stay in the UK over Christmas because they were worried about flying home and then travelling back again, and the international team supported them throughout that Christmas period. And as soon as the government allowed any sort of movement post-lockdown, our priority was for international students to be able to get onto campus. So even if teaching was online, they could access library buildings and they could access face-to-face support with lecturers.
Brilliant, thank you. Question from Sandy again, and for masters guaranteed too. So the accommodations guaranteed for undergraduate students because they're a lot younger, but as we said, there's plenty of accommodations in Canterbury. I think there's about 7 or 8 student accommodation halls in terms of buildings, private accommodation. If you are applying for September and you've accepted your offer, I would advise students to book accommodation as early as possible. You can pay a deposit to book your accommodation. Please, if you do have any questions in terms of how to pay or book, please do contact your counsellor or your business development manager or your program advisor for more information on that. Brilliant. What about scholarships? So at Canterbury Christ Church University, the course fees are 13,000, both for undergraduate and postgraduates. So if you look at art courses around the UK, most art courses start off at £16,000-17,000, which are a lot higher. So the courses at Canterbury Christ Church University, we've looked at pricing, we've looked at what it is, and for £13,000 you will be getting great value, and you'll be studying at a great university. So there isn't any further scholarships on £13,000, but if you are paying your full fees up front and before you start your class, you do get an additional 5% scholarship on that. Trying to see if there's anything else. No, that's all of the questions, Sarah. So would you like to add anything?
No, it's just to say, Sam obviously said at the end, you know, you're happy he's happy for you to email him. Equally so, I'm happy if you want to email me anything about Christchurch. I'm also happy to put you in contact with some of our current international students, so you can get a feel for how they've found studying at Christchurch. And I just look forward to welcome you when you come to study with us, really.
Brilliant. Thank you, Sarah. I'd just like to thank everybody for joining us today, all of our partners around the globe, all of our prospective students who are looking to join us in September at Canterbury Christ Church University, and Sarah as well for the support that you've given us today and your time as well. Thank you very much. Please do get in touch with us if you do have any further questions for Sarah as well. Please do let us know. If you'd like to have any further in detail conversations about portfolios or stuff that you've done, please also let us know, and we look forward to welcoming you all, or as many of you as possible, in the September intake at Canterbury Christ Church University. Thank you all. Hi Fatima, could we end this session, please? No, I think we all have to just jump off. So Sarah, again, thank you very much for your time. Great session, and I look forward to speaking to you again shortly.
Thanks, Sarah. Oh, we can't hear you on mute. It's the usual.
Schoolgirl error. Thank you very much for all your support. I think we got there, even though I was worried about all the technology. It wasn't too bad.
Yeah,
and I'm glad the videos worked all right. So great. Nice to meet you all anyway.
Thank you. Speak
Okay,
later.
bye-bye.
Bye-bye.